Coming up next, I'm going to tell you and show you how to do this. Break free from the 9 to 5. And then what Apple and Google can teach us about disruption and adaptation. And I'm going to coach you up. Let's go. Helping you win at work and in life, I'm Ken. I don't even know why we just decided at some point, I need to dive into this. Why 9 to 5? I have a general idea. There was, no real rules around work. I mean, if you think about, you think about the early days of colonial America, there very few people worked for money. You worked for eggs. You worked for, a little bit of commerce, but largely, it was, I actually work to live, and then there's a little bit of money exchanging hands. Then America grows, the economy grows, right? And we have the trades begin to really take hold, and then there's this, this whole idea of apprenticeships, right? And so you learn to trade, and so then we grew from there, right? And World War II era, the economy's growing. Now you got foreign money coming in, and commerce just kind of evolves. So you get this. As you look through history, commerce and the way that we look at work changed. And where the 9 to 5, 40-hour work week came from is there needed to be clarity on, hey, we start looking at, labor laws and things of that nature and abuses of, employees. And so I know where it comes from. And I actually believe it was a positive thing in its creation. It is okay. We're going to kind of put a limit on what you can do here for wages, and then anything above this is overtime. You need to have a life. I think it was good, but just because we kind of have this traditional 40-hour work week model doesn't mean that that's how you should actually view work. And I think it's very natural for a culturalized system, because that's what it is. It's culturalized. It's like, this is what we do. And if you're not careful, you begin to see work through the lens of everyday engagement. Oh, this is how I engage with it, so this is how I'm going to view it, as opposed to what it really should be, which is an opportunity for you to make an impact, make a unique contribution that you care about, that you do well, and oh, by the way, take care of your family and grow and have an opportunity. As opposed to, well, this is what I got to go do to get a check. It kind of reminds me of the old days, the beginning of the Flintstones, where Fred, they're introducing the whole family, and then Barney and everything. And then they go check in every day, and then the whistle blows, yoo-hoo! And, then they're done. And then it's like, then I go home and look how excited Fred is. Honey, I'm coming home. And, there it is, punching the clock, and I'm going to go home and see my wife and kids. And that right there in cartoon form is how most people still view work, except they're not happy like Fred is. Most people are medicating, stopping by the bar on the way home. I mean, that's just the reality. And so that's the way we see work. So while you are required to punch the clock and put in your 40 hours a week, that's not how you should look at work. And I want to get us out of this. I want us to begin to break the mold, because does anybody really truly punch the clock on a 9 to 5 anymore? It's very rare. You may have an 8-hour workday, but how many of you are actually clocking in 8 hours of work every day? Uh-oh. Now, I asked the question not to make you feel guilty. I asked the question to highlight the reality. I mean, are we all really operating on 40 hours a week? I'm going to suggest to you, very few of you put in 40 hours. You may put in more. Hello. You may put in less. Okay. If you are one of these people who is not putting in any more at all, you're a quiet quitter, I got news for you. You aren't putting 40 hours in. The amount of time you waste on your phone or on your computer, on social media, or searching the internet, fotzing around, the office with coworkers, smoking out back. You're not putting in 40 hours. Taking a full hour lunch. You're not working 40 hours. So you're either working more or you're working less. And the mindset that you should be having is this: I'm making a difference. I'm making a difference in the world. I'm making a difference in the lives of others. And the more progress I make, in other words, the more difference that I can make in different ways, different opportunities, I make progress too. The more difference I make for others, the more difference I make for myself and my family. Financial difference, personal difference. I make impact that rewards me emotionally. I make impact that rewards me financially. Okay, we get that. I'm not saying anything earth-shattering here, but I dare say most of us weren't brought up that way, thinking about work that way. It was just kind of, well, you got to go get you a good job so you can get a good car payment, send your kids to good school, get you a good house. Good's the enemy of great. Good limits us. Great stretches us. Good satisfies us. Great motivates us. And you know what's great about what I just said? That when you feel this, it's great. It's not what I said was great. What happens when you think of work as I'm making a difference in the lives of others, and the bigger the difference I make, the better my life gets. You know what's great about this? It's a double dose. It's 2 scoops of motivation. Motivation, true motivation, cannot be given to us or put upon us. True motivation is I do it because I want to do it. And when I'm getting up to make a difference in the lives of others, to then make my life different, whoo, that's 2 scoops, man. 2 scoops. I can tell you this, I always want 2 scoops. I rarely get 2 scoops. Why? Because I got to loosen my belt. I fall of shame. But you know what's great about those 2 scoops? It's never too much. Never too much for you to see your impact in the lives of others. It's never too much. Income, too much blessing, too many memories. You know, that's what's great. You can't ever have too much. But the opposite of what the world's kind of adopted is Dolly Parton's 9 to 5. Let's look at the opposite. Have you ever heard the lyrics? It's a bouncy little song and it's Dolly. Everybody loves Dolly. Dolly could sing the phone book and be amazing. Listen to this. Tumble out of bed and stumble to the kitchen. Pour myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretch and try to come to life. Want to move ahead, but the boss won't seem to let me. I swear sometimes that man is out to get me. They let you dream, just watch them shatter. You're a step on the boss man's ladder. But you got dreams he'll never take away. Now there's a little bit of positive, Dolly. Come on, folks. It ain't about the 9 to 5. It's about the difference you were born to make.
Did you know that just like a product, you have a personal brand? It's the image or impression others form about you based on your interactions. And whether we realize it or not, our personal brand impacts opportunities to grow in our careers. That's why our team created the Personal Brand Survey. It's free, and it will give you personal and professional feedback so you can own your strengths and uncover any blind spots holding you back. To get started, go to kencoleman.com/brand.
Here's 4 words we're going to take an interesting trip with right now. This too shall pass. We usually use that phrase, such a wise, kind of you picture some old person saying, this too shall pass, right? And we usually use it in the context of negative things. But I want us to look at it today, not just from a negative standpoint, but a positive standpoint. Meaning, negative things in our life, hang on, it's a storm, it's going to pass. But good things in our life, hang on, it's a couple good sunny days, but it's going to pass. The good will pass. The bad will pass. It's all going to pass. And resilient men and women, successful men and women who do significant things understand this, and they are people for all seasons. I want to be a man for all seasons. I want you to be a man for all seasons. I want you to be a woman for all seasons. I want you to be the best version of you. And if you're going to do that, you're going to need to understand this. And I'm going to give you a little context in the news. Listen, you know what businesses know? They know this too shall pass. Ask Mark Zuckerberg if he knows this too shall pass. He does. Ask Elon Musk if he understands this too shall pass. 2-3 years ago, Elon Musk is on top of the heap, man. He's the most brilliant businessman in the world, maybe the richest guy in the world. He gets involved, buys Twitter. Everybody hates him now. Tesla stock in the crapper. This too shall pass, Elon. He knows it. In other words, nothing lasts forever. The good times, the bad times, it's seasonal. Ups, downs, hills, valleys. Well, a successful company and a successful person understands this intuitively, and so they're built for it. They're prepared for it, and when you're in the valley, they get it. When on top of the mountain, they know, let's ride this thing, let's make the most of it. We're prepared for the valley, because when the valley comes, we're ready for it. And then in that mindset, in that discipline, in that maturation, guess what happens? You start to see disruption as a good thing, not a bad thing. Oh, it can suck. Let's be very, very clear, but it does not have to be a bad thing. Well, the experts are saying that Apple and Google, two of the biggest companies in the world, well, they're about ready to go through some big time squeeze, man, facing some real pressure in the form of competition as a result of disruption. When culture, society, people, humans adapt their behaviors, businesses have to adapt or they die. Blockbuster, anybody? Anybody? They didn't adapt. Netflix figured it out. People are tired of driving every Friday night to go get a video and then forgetting about it and then getting a late fee. That's where the pain began. I would suggest to you, Alex, that one of the things that Blockbuster could have done, I've never shared this publicly, but I've mused on this myself. One of the things Blockbuster could have tried that I think would have at least made them be more aware of what Netflix was going to do and the disruption that was dangerous is they should have went to a drive-through model. I've always thought this. I think that would have been at least a good step for them to go, Can people just zip by? They order online or they order and then we just give them their video and making it easier and easier and easier. See, humans are about progress, so we all as soon as you blow us away with convenience, guess what? We adapt to that convenience and we want the next level of convenience. That's where drive-through comes in. Look at COVID. What happened to COVID? I still want food. I don't want to cook my food. But Fauci says I can't go out. Got to wear a mask. Are you interested in delivering my food? Small business people say, yeah, you pay me? Yeah. All right. Is there anybody that wants to go pick up the pizza? Nobody wants to go pick the pizza up. I want the pizza brought to my house. Right? So the point is that Blockbuster, and you've heard us talk, I mean, everybody's talking about Blockbuster in ad nauseum. I mean, it's just, they didn't see it coming. They weren't ready for it. They didn't see the disruption. Well, Apple and Google are facing this, and there's something that we can learn from this. Well, let's just look at what's happening with Apple and Google. So after years and years and years, gee whiz, I feel like I've been seeing this in the news for 10 years, maybe more. Political people talking about it, competition talking about it, all about Apple's App Store. Well, the regulators look like they've finally gotten what they wanted. Apple is reportedly preparing an update to the iOS operating system this year that would, for the very first time, allow outside parties to offer their own app stores for iPhone and iPad. Now, Apple's position has been, look, we vet every iPhone and iPad app in-house to make sure that it meets security and content standards before you can use it. Okay? Well, the company justifies that by taking a 30% cut from most App Store transactions as a fair price to protect me because I got an iPhone. That's been the argument. Well, there's been a lot of big-time critics, including Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, and everybody who is in Apple said, wait a second. The App Store is anti-competition. It's anti-competition. It's antitrust if you know those kinds of issues. Well, there's no way for an iPhone user to install any software that's not in the Apple Store. That's not good for the consumer. Apple had to know that eventually consumers were going to go, I want something else. That leaves them ripe for disruption. Well, here it comes. The first real-world test, according to this Business Insight article, is this regulation now. If the App Store does open up and iPhone doesn't become a toxic hell stew, this is from the writer of this article, perhaps Apple will reconsider its approach. But here we go. Now they're going to see what it's like to have competition. More on that in a second. Let's talk about Google. The threat to Google is a little bit more stiff in the form of this new thing called ChatGPT. This is the popular chat bot made by OpenAI, as in artificial intelligence. And it's getting a whole lot of buzz in Silicon Valley. Google is taking it seriously. The company's leadership at Google declared a code red over this ChatGPT. So now what is ChatGPT? It's really versatile and much more hyper-focused for a search. I'll give you an example. It can answer a simple question like, what is the population of Paris? Or what is the definition of gobbledygook? Fill in the word. Whatever the word is, it tells you. But this is really cool. Alex, have you heard of this thing? ChatGPT? You can ask it to write in the style of William Shakespeare about a Burger King menu. So effectively, what this does is you can say, write the description of the Ken Coleman Show in the style of William Shakespeare. And it's you input, and it spits it back out. So it's going to allow you to develop content in a very customized, efficient way. That's going to enter my world pretty quickly is what I'm seeing. And it hammers Google. Why? Because all the critics of Google says if I put something in search, I'm not sure I'm getting the actual pure search. I'm getting something that has got sponsored results. I got all kinds of other stuff that I'm not really looking for because while it's not relevant to me, it's lucrative for you, Google. That's the deal, right? I search in how to make a ham sandwich and I get all kinds of stuff, and it's largely driven by who paid for their stuff to pop up when I typed in how do you make a ham sandwich. By the way, it's with pepper jack cheese and spicy mustard. So, what's the challenge? What do we learn from this? Change is a challenge to Google, Facebook, Apple, and it's a challenge to me. But it makes us better. How? We're always aware, and we have an attitude of adaptation.
So you just landed the new job. Congratulations. You've made it past the interviews, and now it's time to onboard with excellence. That's why I created How to Stand Out at Your New Job. This free checklist will help you succeed from day one and may even help you get promoted. These practical steps set you up to add value, help your team win, exceed your leaders' expectations, and ultimately set you up for a successful transition. To get started, just go to kencoleman.com/new.
I want to reveal some things for those of you who feel like your mental health is being negatively impacted by your work. Oh my gosh, I get it. You're burned out, stressed out of your mind, questioning a lot of heavy-duty stuff. And so my good friends at Gallup, they're the gold standard for doing research for employees, employee engagement, leadership. And so I want to speak to you, the worker. Now, if you're a leader and you follow me on this, you need to pay attention to this. But I want to walk through some stuff that can really help those of you whose mental health is being negatively impacted by work. First of all, you're not alone. Recent Gallup research has revealed that 40% of U.S. workers report that their job has had a negative impact on their mental health in the last 6 months. 7% describing it as having an extremely negative impact. Now, this is linked to an extra $47 billion in unplanned absences from work because of poor mental health. That's real. That is a real cost to productivity and profitability right there, folks. And you would think that leaders would wake up to this. It's not a pizza party. It's not sales goals. It's the environment that you are allowing or the environment you are creating. That's what you all are dealing with. Poor leadership that allows an environment where people can feel this way. You're allowing it or creating it unawarely or creating it intentionally. That's just the bottom line. And this is not rocket science. But I'm here for you. I'm a man of the people, and leaders, you can get something out of this. But those of you that are in a situation like this, you need to be aware of these very real scenarios. And if it's not going to be addressed, you need to get out. And I'm here to help you do it the right way. So what's the big silver bullet here? What is the thing? It's employee engagement. According to Gallup, improving worker mental health starts with employee engagement. Now, there are several elements to creating good engagement, okay? But there are three biggies. Clarity of expectations. So, in other words, you know what your leader expects of you. I mean, clearly. So, you can walk through that. It's what they expect you to do, how they expect you to do it, when they expect you to produce it. How clear are you of your expectations? It's a big one. Employees need to know that there's opportunities for development and growth. And they want to know that they're heard, that their opinions matter. Now, these are just three specific elements. And if you don't have clarity of expectations, if you don't see opportunities or know that there are opportunities for growth, and you don't feel like your contribution matters, that gets stressful. That gets discouraging. It gets awful pretty quick. Yeah, who wants to live like that? Well, I'm here, but I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do. Well, I'm here, but I got no opportunity. Well, I'm here, but nobody knows I'm here, acts like they care that I'm here. And that's real. I mean, I'm just breaking this down a little deeper here into the emotions and what they sound like in our heads. 32% of U.S. workers are classified as engaged. So my math says 68% aren't engaged. Hasn't changed much over the last decade. Been reporting this data on this show since the day I started. When Gallup tracked over 10,000 workers over a 6-month period, those who were classified as engaged in February 2022 were 5 times more likely to report later that their job had an extremely positive impact on their mental health. So we've been talking about disengagement, but those who are engaged are saying, my job, it was good for my mental health. Wow. Wait a second. We didn't have to send anybody to counseling for that. We didn't have to prescribe any medication for that. Huh. You mean we had to help people see meaning and purpose in their work? You mean we have to recognize them in meetings, privately, publicly, that they matter? We want to know what they think and feel, that we see their unique contribution. You mean we got to treat them like a person? Maybe be a coach, a mentor? You mean that's what we got to do? And then people say that the work has a positive mental health impact? Yeah. Fascinating. So if you aren't in an organization that demonstrates to you that they want to develop you, they believe in you, they see your strengths, they see what you do well, they see what you love, and they want to develop that. They got a plan for your growth. Start looking. If you're in a place where if you're not in a place where employees are encouraged, challenged to do outstanding, great things, start looking. If you're not in a place where the organization doesn't just express, but actively is helping you in your physical, professional life in multiple ways, start looking. If you're not in a place that has high trust because leaders communicate clearly, you need to start looking. If you're not in a place where your values align with the values of the organization, you need to start looking. It's just that simple. You need to be in a place where you feel as though you aren't just a unit of production, but that you are a person with tremendous potential. You need to be in a place where you are seen and heard, recognized and rewarded. You need to be in a place that understands you are a human first and a team member second. Hey, this is spinning out of control in your life. Go take care of that. Go. We got you. We'll figure it out. That matters way more than you turning in your TPS report today. Go. Go. You need to be in a place that cares more about you being and doing excellent than them putting out an excellent profit report. See, because when it is we focused, we all win. When it is me focused, we don't win. So when leaders and companies are so focused on the stock price, on their specific financial goals, and that's all they focus on, and so people are just a part of the process and thus at times a nuisance, not they are as big of a role in the purpose as I am. When that's off, what you see is a lack of engaged people. You see mental health problems, people leaving you. You can't hold people. I mean, folks, we got to get to this. So, hey, you got to take your mental health seriously. Be in a place that improves your mental health.
You were created to fill a unique role through your work, but it can feel overwhelming to figure out what that is. That's why I created the Get Clear Career Assessment. In just 15 minutes, you'll get customized results that clarify what you do best, the work you love to do, and the results that motivate you. All this helps you discover what you were born to do. And you'll get a list of professional possibilities to help you in your job search. To get started, go to kencoleman.com/assessment.
All right, folks, welcome to the program, the Ken Coleman Show, where we are maniacally focused on you winning at work and in life. In other words, I want you to make good money, but I also want you to experience terrific meaning, income, and impact up. The bigger the difference I make in other people's lives, the greater the difference I have on my own life. It's just that simple. That's the takeaway from today's opening teaching. If you missed it, go back and watch it. Let's go to Monique in Reno, Nevada, or Nevada. I can't ever, it's Nevada, isn't it? Monique, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi, Ken.
Hi.
So I have a good job with great benefits and perks, but I'm worried that I won't be able to get another job with the same benefits and flexibility.
What is behind that worry? Do we have any evidence of that?
Yeah, so the company that I work for, we got a change in leadership, and with that change, they did a pretty big layoff. Luckily, I didn't lose my job, but now the new leadership is possibly talking about taking away our current benefit package, and so
what specifically is freaking you out on the benefits changing?
So I had a stroke in July.
Oh, bless your heart.
And then I also had to get an emergency hysterectomy in August.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm like uninsurable. And so that's why I need a job with that packet, or like with life insurance and long-term disability, just because I need to take care of my family. Okay.
Well, okay, this is what I needed to hear. First of all, you don't have to have a job where those are provided. In fact, many times life insurance policies that are offered through companies aren't as attractive as what you could get directly with like Xander Insurance, who Ramsey Solutions endorses. So you can get term life. It may be a little more expensive because of the medical, the stroke itself, the hysterectomy, depending on what the medical is there, but it's still, you are insurable. And you can get life insurance on your own, whether a company offers it or not, and you can get long-term care as well. So the idea that, and first of all, you don't know if they're changing these benefits, you're just worried about it.
Yeah, it's in the talks.
But here's the deal.
For sure.
Most people don't take a job based on company-based life insurance and company-funded long-term care. That's not why you take a job.
Yeah.
You take a job because if you listen to this program, because you're good at it, because you love it, because it produces results that matter to you, or you take a job that you're good at because it's going to allow you to perform in a place to get promoted, to step into the job that you really want to do, right? My point is that you just got to go price this. You're scared, and I understand that. I would be too if I were in your shoes, but I would very quickly say, and I do, I have my own term life. Dave Ramsey doesn't provide my life insurance. Okay? And long-term care, again, that's something that I can fund and should fund. So all that to say, if you've got your financial life in order and you're working a good job where you've got the income to pay for those things separately, if a company provides them and they're adequate enough, gravy. If they don't, it's not the end of the world. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then I also had another question. So with all the changes that my company's been having, I have been applying for other jobs. But if I was to get one of those jobs, or if a job offer would present itself, how would I be able to ask, like, well, I don't know how to.
It's okay. Just say it.
Like, if I need to miss every once in a while for appointments, like, how do I bring that up to them?
You don't bring it up. You don't bring it up.
Okay.
You're a person.
Okay.
They're a company. They've had lots of employees before you started there had to miss work because of an appointment. You just, when it comes up, it comes up. Okay.
Okay.
And my rule of thumb on this is that most people allow you to have lunch or have a lunch hour. True or false?
True.
Yeah. So do your appointments on your lunch, eat at your desk that day, or, whatever. I don't worry about that. You don't have to bring all that up in the interview. Okay. And by the way, we're not going to do a job interview and say, well, this could happen to me. Well, I could get hit by a bus today, but I'm not thinking about it. This is the Ken Coleman Show.
Did you know that recruiters take an average of 6 seconds to scan a resume? And that's if they ever see it in the first place. In fact, 75% of resumes are rejected before reaching a hiring manager. Listen, folks, if you want to get hired, you've got to make your resume worth noticing. That's why we created How to Write the Perfect Resume. This free guide will walk you through the 5 steps to stand out in the hiring process to get you your dream job. If you want to get started, go to kencoleman.com/resume.
Hey, if this show is encouraging you, equipping you, entertaining you, I am glad. And I would ask you to do the ultimate of ultimate favors. And I kid you not. You and your word is the greatest marketing tool in the world. No money that we strategize can spend, could touch you saying, I enjoy this show. I'm going to give it a rating on podcast. I'm going to subscribe and share. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to subscribe and share the show. All of that is 10x what anybody at Ramsey Solutions could do to market and advertise this show. So would you consider doing that? Because we are growing, and you know why I'm here. And I want to get as many people as possible thinking, feeling, and doing the things that we talk about on this program so that they can make the difference in the world they were born to make. Andrew's up in Louisville, Kentucky. Andrew, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, how you doing?
I am living the dream, Andrew. What are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
I love the show. Loved the live stream a few days ago.
Oh, thank you.
Actually, I was telling my wife I might need to try out her body pillow.
Come on.
After hearing you.
I have had more guys reach out to me on that than you could possibly imagine. It was like I set some dudes free to use the full-length body pillow. So I might have to start endorsing one. We'll see what happens. What's going on?
Yeah. So my question, I'm reading the proximity principle right now, and I love the advice it gives, and I'm ready to put it into action, but I'm really just not sure what my dream job or role is. So as I'm reading through it, I'm thinking I want to be able to do what it says, but I'm just not exactly sure the next step to take and what direction.
Okay. Well, let's start with ideas, because I think we have to always retreat back to clarity. And when we retreat to clarity, then we begin to gain confidence. All right?
Yeah.
So what are the ideas that you've been thinking about? I just know a guy like you who reads my book, The Proximity Principle, who calls my show. You got ideas, and I think you're just struggling from a lack of clarity, which is affecting your confidence. Does that sound like you?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So give me some pictures. What are you thinking about? What would you try if you knew you couldn't fail?
Well, I've actually worked since 12. I've worked as referees, servers, cashiers, like door-to-door sales, landscaping, hospice care. So I've worked in tons of different stuff, and I really enjoy that nonprofit healthcare section. I did a lot of volunteer work there, like travel planning, landscape design, even like gardening, education. So I have like so many broad passions and interests. I really like listening to the Dave Ramsey show as well with investing, and I do my family's taxes and stuff. So.
All right. So I asked you, are those the ideas, or are you just telling me your life history? Because I said, what are the things you're wondering about? And you gave me your life history. Are they different?
So my ideas right now, to narrow it down, I think that I could enjoy like healthcare administration, I was actually accepted into a master's program in healthcare administration, and then.
All right, so hold on. I just want the ideas right now because I'm digging on purpose. So you got to trust me for a second, and then we're gonna loop this thing together. So healthcare administration is one idea. What else?
Public administration.
Public administration. What else? Anything else?
That's about it. I mean, I enjoy other things, but I haven't looked into it a ton.
Good. So between all the things that you have enjoyed, I know you've done a lot, but we're gonna raise the bar on and we're gonna go to, I love this, Ken. I feel alive when I'm doing this type of work or task, or I'm filling this role. You got me now?
Yeah.
What do you love doing?
What I love doing most, I volunteered for, over here on the East Coast, they do something called the RAM clinics. That's like free volunteer healthcare. And I loved that. I wasn't getting paid for it, but that's the kind of work that I really love.
All right. So let's stop talking about it like healthcare and let's describe it. Let's go another level deeper.
Okay.
What is that? What is that? Forget volunteering. Forget healthcare admin or public admin. When you are meeting people the way you met them, how would you describe it?
Just service, empathy.
Boom. Now, any idea that you have about professional future must start there. You get the juice, as I like to call it. It's just good old-fashioned motivation. See, nobody can motivate you, but you can be motivated. Not by anybody telling you, but by you contributing something, producing something that motivates you. And you love serving others. That's your jam.
Yeah.
So here's what we know. It's got to be people-focused. It's about serving people. All right?
Definitely. Yeah.
All right. So now let's pull back because that's what motivates you. What's the type of work or a task? Give me a task or a role that you go, man, I look forward to this kind of work. It's a role or a task. Give me something.
One that came to mind first, I really like the almost like maybe you could call it counseling. Like I like to help my siblings and family like figure things out or work through school schedules or.
Yep. I say, I'm going to give you 2 words. Oh, excuse me. I hit the mic. I'm going to give you 2 words. I think you like analyzing and I think you like advising.
Yeah, probably overanalyzing actually.
That's why you called me. You're overanalyzing for yourself. And you got to turn your brain off and listen to your heart. So why I'm walking you through this process is I want you to see, oh, okay. And then what would you say your greatest talents are? Not skills yet, or maybe if you got a skill or 2, fine. But you're just really good. You've always been good at this. This comes easy for you, and people say you do this well. What are we hearing?
I think I'm good with people. People generally like me, and children as well. They like me as well.
So you're good at communicating and connecting. So what if you use your talents of communication and connection to analyze and advise, to be able to bring as much service to people as possible? I think that's why healthcare administration sticks out to you, is I think you like to lead. I think you like to guide and communicate. I think you like to look at the big picture and say, this is the best way to go about doing this. That's why I think healthcare administration appeals to you, because you never said being a doctor. You never said being a nurse. Because I was on the pre-med track for a while. That was my undergrad major. So.
What
made you get off of that?
Mainly just the school part of it, and then not really. I just was recently married, and we kind of realized that's not what we wanted for the next decade of our lives. Yeah,
but I think it's deeper than that. Because as you've been really honest with me, and I applaud you, Andrew, you've been very honest with me. I haven't heard doctor. I haven't heard nurse. Yeah. I haven't heard caregiver. What I've heard is advisor, leader.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. I think you need to listen to your heart on this healthcare administration. So the proximity principle that you're reading right now says, in order to do what Andrew wants to do, and let's just say we're considering, and we are. We're not locking in on healthcare administration. We're considering it.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to be a healthcare administrator, Andrew's got to get around people who are doing that work and in places where it is happening.
Yeah.
Journals, trade groups, associations. What can you learn about the business, the career path of, that's a place, online, reading. And then who's a healthcare administrator in your area? All right. Who's got a podcast? Who's written a book on it? Dude, it's called Clarify, Verify. You're going to hear that in the book. I clarify, right, by learning everything there is to know about being a healthcare administrator and all the paths that could put me on. I'm also clarifying, is it allowing me to do work that I'm good at, that I love, that produces results that matter deeply to me?
Mm-hmm.
And then that verifies, right? The more I learn, here's what I'm going to hear. Or it's one of the two. There's my sounds.
Yep.
And so that's the deal. But here's the deal. I'm going to give you a jump start. The Get Clear Career Assessment in about 15 minutes is going to verify and clarify all of this. Hang on. I'm going to give it to you. Thank you for calling. The rest of you can get it at kencoleman.com.
Thanks for listening to The Ken Coleman Show. For more, you can find the show on demand wherever you listen to podcasts and watch the show on YouTube. You can also find Ken across all social media by following @Ken Coleman.